The legendary Niagara Falls can be seen from a distance on the border of the United States and Canada. The dull rumble of the water gave the Niagara River its Indian name of Thundering Water. On its 55-kilometre journey from Lake Erie to Lake Ontario, the river travels to an altitude of more than 100 metres. Travelling at up to 50 kilometres an hour, and with several treacherous rapids, the Niagara is one of the world's wildest rivers. However, its waters have now been partly subdued by a huge dam. The redirected water is fed into several hydroelectric power stations, an inexpensive and environmentally sound way of producing energy. Just a few kilometres upstream, not far from the famous tourist attraction, the scenery is tranquil and idyllic. Over the years, there have been those who've chosen to plunge over the waterfalls in barrels, but many paid for this with their lives. Niagara Falls, a mighty curtain of water, impressive yet frightening. After it was discovered by Europeans in the 17th century, people were more afraid of the falls than fascinated by its natural splendor. The power of these natural forces is most apparent from one of the several observation platforms close to the rocks and the thundering water. A small area of land named Goat Island divides the waters of the Niagara River into two falls, the American Falls and the Canadian Horseshoe Falls. Gradually, the public sphere of the falls was transformed into a fascination and deep admiration of this true wonder of nature. Since the beginning of the 20th century, the number of visitors who come to see the marvels of Niagara Falls has steadily increased. It also seems as though even the animal kingdom is startled by this spectacular sight. Sightseers have many ways by which they are able to witness the dramatic falls. Boat excursions on the Maid of the Mist to the base of the falls are particularly popular. At a width of around 700 meters, Horseshoe Falls is more than twice as wide as the nearby American Falls. The water plunges 55 meters over the cliffs and continuously hollows out the rocks, while the misty spray rises overhead and obscures the landscape. The Maid of the Mist undauntingly makes its way through the torrential river. Even though it's around 27 meters long, it's tiny compared to the massive falls. Each of the boats of the modern Niagara Falls fleet can take up to 600 passengers. Tour boats have traveled these waters since the middle of the 19th century. The vantage points close to the waterfalls have their own special charm, but each year the river destroys an increasing number of rocks. Prior to the arrival of the hydroelectric power stations and the partial diversion of the water, the average annual erosion of Horseshoe Falls amounted to around 1 meter. Of almost 524 million litres of water that travels down the river each minute, today only half of this finds its way down to the edge of waterfalls and thus slows down the erosion process. Power stations have not detracted from the beauty of Niagara Falls. Indeed, the waterfalls are a very popular honeymoon destination. An increasing number of tourists from around the world come to experience the romantic qualities of this exceptional location. Indeed, in 1803, the younger brother of Napoleon, Jerome Bonaparte, and his wife Elizabeth Patterson enjoyed a honeymoon in Niagara. And even now, Niagara Falls captivates its many visitors, even at night.